thoughts on coaches now being fully filled up, stocked up. I think they just announced probably 2 hours ago the final spot was Dennis Allen to the Saints.
Yep.
So Lovie Smith went to the Texans, and that also seems
worst
kind of
hire of the offseason. Worst hire of the offseason, Lovie Smith.
Yeah, Lovie Smith was really interesting just because
what was that? It was that was out of left field for me. I was like, what is going on here?
He was David Coley's defensive assistant coordinator, and I just that's not the direction they're going, but so much pressure from the league to never hire a minority coach, I think really did get to him. I think they were really considering Josh McCown, but they're going to get so much blowback.
Well, I think that, and I think they know they're going to be bad, so it's kind of like with Coley. Coley just fell on the sword. I mean, it was tough. Like he shouldn't have been fired, in my opinion. I thought he was better than with that roster than he ever should have been. But obviously that happened, and the Lovie Smith thing, that's got to be. I mean, I saw one tweet. He's got the crazy beard. And it was like, man, that's a sweet beard. He's definitely just going to go like 4-13, but that beard is sweet.
He had that beard in Illinois. It's just longer
now. I know. But I don't know. I don't get that one. Dennis Allen makes sense. I figured the Saints would go in-house. That makes sense. They probably should have. Mm-hmm. If Dan Campbell was still around, he definitely would have gotten consideration for that job a year later, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I guess most of them all make sense. I mean, you can continue to see the trend. Hey, we're going young, offensive mind. That's.
Is it crazy? I still think the best hire is the Jaguars, Doug Peterson. What's a better hire to you?
I mean, other than like an internal one, like Dennis Allen, I like Dennis Allen. That's going to work out better, I think, than Doug.
They're just in such a tough spot where I don't think he's actually this year at least is going to be. They're the worst for salary cap this year. Yeah. They're going to have to offload so much.
And they're starting running backs now in jail.
Yeah, what's crazier is he got to play the Pro Bowl despite that, because that happened before the Pro Bowl happened.
I know what's going on there. It's just two-hand touch. He couldn't hurt anybody in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, sheesh. I don't know. Mike McDaniel I feel like I didn't expect that Mike McDaniel to get a job yet this year, to be honest.
But again, that's continuing the trend of young-minded, just young coaches in general running throughout the league, which I don't think is a problem. That's not I think that's just everybody's looking for the next McVay or Shanahan or, you know what I mean? Everybody's looking for that, and I don't know if that's always there. I think people need to realize, like, hey, sometimes
they're kind of a dime a dozen yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Kevin O'Connell gets a job either, unless they don't if they don't make the Super Bowl. Honestly, they win the NFC Championship, and I think that's Kevin O'Connell's resume. So I don't think he would have gotten the job.
That's possible. I mean, then you look at the whole Jim Harbaugh saga, and it's like, I think that's part of it. Going with the young guy though, with that one, it's like, okay, Jim Harbaugh's 58. I think it's pretty evident he'd probably find a way to win with a team like that. I think he would win games, certainly, especially in that division in the coming years with that team. And I think he probably would have won games in Vegas, and he probably would have won games in Chicago, any of the teams he was supposedly linked to. I think he would have found a way to win games, but it's like, okay, he's 58. These teams want long-term or just young guys. They want the next Matt LaFleur, Shanahan, some of these Andy Reid disciples. A lot of them want those guys, but
Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen figure out.
Dennis Allen turns 50 this season.
Yeah, but he was intern.
Yeah, it's intern, but I know they also hired Eric Bieniemy, and Eric Bieniemy, people are always like, why isn't he getting a job? Which, maybe he doesn't want it as much. I don't know if he wants it. Are there reports
maybe he interviews poorly?
That could be that too. I mean,
maybe they're realizing, look, maybe it's Andy Reid and not Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, and he's 53 too. So is that considered old now? Doug Peterson's obviously around that general age. Lovie Smith is obviously the really old guy in this group. Yep. Josh McDaniels is getting another chance with the Raiders. I just don't ever see him as a good head coach, and I think this is not going to go well with the Raiders either.
No, I think it'll go. It's not going to go any better than Gruden. I mean, it's probably similar to Gruden. Not in the
maybe not the racism or anything like that.
Yeah, not like that, but like as far as wins and losses, I mean, he's just in my opinion, he's a very average head coach.
I also I'm not super high on DeBoer as a head coach. And I know he's going to be mad at me when I text him about this later.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Like
a fat
that one can go either way for me. Like I love his, his offensive mind and that, but I mean, to me, that's a tough spot. I mean, the Giants stink. Stink. So.
And Gettleman just stepped down too, right? So.
Yep, which that could be good or bad.
That could be a good thing. Yeah, it's definitely maybe you're not having the horse pull the reins back so much, but to me, DeBoer gives me fat Ben McAdoo vibes. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah. Didn't McAdoo get hired again?
Yeah, isn't he like an offensive coordinator or something? Yeah,
he's a coordinator.
I saw that now. And then Matt Eberflus to the Bears and Nathaniel Hackett to the Broncos.
Yep.
Again, offensive minds. Once again,
a lot of offensive minds, not a whole lot. I mean, there's a few defensive guys in there.
That's the NFL. That's the NFL right now too.
It's the NFL right now, and it goes in trends. I mean, I'm sure it'll swing back to defense at some point, years to come. So, I think it just kind of depends. Like, once defense is able to catch up to some of these offenses, or once some of these offenses are figured out, which you've seen evidence that some of them have been recently, then maybe you trend back over to defense. But right now, that trend in football overall is offense. So that's just how it's going to work. NFL is usually the first on the scene, and then typically everything trickles down from the NFL. Rarely does it go up to the NFL, but some things do. But I think the way the NFL is going, that's just how football is going right now. So.